Hi everyone, a very, very warm welcome to Original Woman Network. I'm Aarti Bagdi. I'm a filmmaker and the brand ambassador for this network. And today here we have with us, we are so delighted to have with us Marlies, who is one of the founders and the owners of the most iconic working spaces in Mumbai.
And I
I,
already, sorry.
I love it for its originality, its vibe, and thank you so much for coming on Original Woman Network, Marlies, and sharing us all about your journey. So I'm going to be beginning to talk to you about, what was the motivation for you to start this co-working space like in India, in Mumbai, one of the most toughest cities? So can you tell us a bit about that?
Already, I can say, I mean, I'm the founder of Ministry of New, and I started it in 2013 in an old warehouse in Lalbagh, actually. So it was my own, I started this my own studio because I'm a graphic designer. That's my background, and worked as an art director for like Condé Nast magazines and for, doing shoots and for advertising. So I found this studio and I thought like, okay, it's quite expensive. Let me share it with some other creatives. And do some events sometimes, bring people together because I love that. I love hospitality, and that kind of grew organically to a co-working space. So I never had an intention to start a co-working space, not at all. It really grew organically just by bringing friends together, bringing people together, and like, oh, we can work together, we can partner on things, and that's how it kind of grew to this Ministry of New.
Oh, wonderful. So, but where did you get the basic idea that you can start something like this in Mumbai? Like, how did you figure that?
I didn't have that idea. Since it really was my own workspace, which I started sharing with other people. So I called it a collaborative creative space for work, play, and shoot. And called it the Ministry of New already. And then only I found out like, oh, in the world there's something happening called co-working. So finally had this thing like, oh, I can actually put it in a box. I can put a label on it. It's like, this is what I'm doing. I have a co-working space.
Wonderful. So the cultural differences of working in a normal workplace and, the differences in working in this kind of a workspace, and then so many other small details like you being a woman, you being in a country that is not your own, and working in this infrastructure place. So what were the challenges that you faced through all these layers of details?
I take challenges like, I just take it day by day, to be honest, and see what comes my way. And I kind of go with the flow and kind of trust my gut. So that's very feminine, I guess. And maybe that's not always the best way. So you learn a lot on the way, right? You make a lot of mistakes, but that's also the part I like in a way, not at the moment, but afterwards, there are always so many learnings. And especially, I'm sure, yes, as a woman, it's maybe harder to get certain things done, or, you're not maybe that vocal like me. But then I learned also it has a lot of positive sides also to be a woman, because, you attract the right people that way as well. I really think so. Like,
what were the communication issues and challenges that came up being non-Indian and having to work actually with grassroots level people like plumbers and electricians and, the whole works? So how did you deal with all that and to make them understand your sensibility, your color palette, all that? So how did that happen?
So I did a little bit of practice already with the first ministry, and then I moved to Santa Cruz even for a bit. Those two spaces I did completely on my own. With the big space in Fort, I actually had the help of an architecture firm who helped me with the civil work, right? And then I had a project manager who helped me with project manager is my colleague, to help me with translating whatever was needed. But on the other hand, I'm quite handy myself, so I kind of showed very often like, okay, this is how I want it. And I had such a very strong vision of what I wanted. So that worked as well. And then with a little bit of Hindi and some English and hands and feet and kindness and yeah, and just being, human, I think it worked well.
Did you end up teaching your language to quite a few around you?
No, not really.
So
Like
you
Dutch
ended up
swearing?
picking up Hindi more.
No. I think that they always laugh at my Hindi, so I kind of gave up on trying to speak it, which I regret, to be honest, because I'm here since 12 years and I still not managing to speak it properly.
Nice. So, how do you see your business shaping up in this post-COVID world? Like, considering the fact that now people are not coming together in co-working spaces, not going, only 30% of people are going to offices. So, what are your plans? How to make this business work now in, the next few months?
This is a tough time, of course, because we're still closed. We're planning to open in like a week or two or something. So we're preparing it. But I do think like that actually co-working is made for this time, or at least, in a couple of months, I think it will take a really huge flight, because it's all about flexibility. And I guess that's exactly what people will need for like their offices, their studios, their workspaces. Because you can just, have a contract of like a month or a day or 5 days or 10 days. And if you need money for something else, you can just shift to another membership, for example, or sign out for a bit and come back later. And you can build your team, grow your team, make it smaller again. So all that flexibility makes so much sense now, because we all have to save money, right?
Right.
I think a lot of, especially, our audience are all entrepreneurs and they all have their own businesses. So it's so important to kind of give that opportunity.
That's wonderful that, that something like this is available for people who have to actually count every buck that they're spending, and then there is this option available for them to manage their work. So
I was a freelancer myself, right? I always ran my own agency, so I know exactly how it is. Like,
right,
for sure,
right.
I totally connect in that sense.
Any unique challenges for women entrepreneurs that you would like to highlight in your journey?
I find that really difficult because I never think of that too much. I don't know if it's like really kind of naive or kind of ignorance, but I don't know, I try to look at things like, even with our events or something, I always keep everything unisex. For me, that's very important. So, and for me, myself, yes, I'm very, feminine and everything, but I kind of like that balance. So I don't know, I find it really hard to give tips on that or ideas on that. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what to respond to it, to be honest. Yeah, I know that, of course, this is the network for this, but I don't think I'm the right person in that sense to give any.
So that's interesting that you see things above the gender. You're not. It's not about the woman. It's like,
yes, it's more about personality.
Yeah, it's more a personality. So, what is that driving force in your personality that actually makes you, overcome all your challenges that come across the way? What is that one little insight that you would like to share?
Still stay always true to what you're doing and be honest, and yes, follow your gut, and that might be naive sometimes or seen as naive, but I don't think so. Like, because if that makes you happy, and if that's, how you grow, I think it's only healthy that way.
Right. So, what advice would you like to give to aspirational job seekers with you, or aspirational entrepreneurs like you? What is that advice that you would want to give to them?
Most important, I think, is like, you need to build a good network, and you have to also, I think the main thing, if you have your own business or you start your own business, whatever you do, then I think your network is very important. Like, have some really good people around you who are lifting you up also, like who bring you good energy, for example, and who are not like criticizing you just to criticize you. That's, I think, a very good point that I learned also along the journey. Really get rid of bad energy in that sense. And yeah, have this group of people around you who can also be your kind of soundboard, or maybe bigger, even like a board of advisors. Yeah, surround yourself with amazing people from you can learn from.
That's wonderful. So how do you see your business shaping up in this post-COVID world where, where workspaces, as it is, people are working from home, and, there's only 30% of people who are possibly going to offices now. So can you just, what do you think, where is your business going to go in this post-COVID world?
The post-COVID world, and even during the COVID world, I think co-working, it makes so much sense because it's all about flexibility. And the people who are members with us, they all have their own businesses and are entrepreneurs, so they need also that flexibility and the option to always opt out as well, or change a membership. So they can, pick like a 5-day memberships or 10 days or full time, and they can always change that according to, maybe their finances, or maybe their team is growing, or maybe, getting smaller. So that flexibility helps. And I think that's really the future. Like, co-working is the future in that sense, for small companies and bigger companies, the same.
Yeah, and such a great way to save money, as you had rightly said. So, yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to Marlies, who is the founder of Ministry of New. And you have to visit the place, and I'm sure you're going to fall in love. I fall in love with the pictures, and I'm sure I'm going to end up shooting there soon. Yeah. So thank you so much, Marlies. Last few words, if you'd like to sign off before we end this session.
Yeah, if you feel like starting your own business, now is the time, right? This is the time for change. And even if your budgets might be lower, get creative and just do it. Really do it and own it, as you say.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Lovely. Thank you so much, Marlies.